Hello and welcome to Tech with Heart. I am your host, Michelle-Calloway. Tech with Heart is all about empowering entrepreneurs to embrace technologies, systems, and strategies that will help them to be competitive in today's digital business landscape. And today's topic is systems are sexy. Yes, they are. You may not think they are, but really, truly, the feeling that they bring to you as the business owner, the leader, and even the team is awesome. So with me, we have a very special guest who knows all about organizing. She's got this super miracle gift of helping others figure out how to get organized and create systems. Her name is Andrea Hancock, and she's the founder of Dexterousorganizing. And she also is a member of the NAPO, which is National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. Doesn't that sound like a fun group? I'm sure they got their stuff together. Yes. So Andrea and her team work with clients to create positive change in their life and business using organization. She's been doing this since 2010. So let me welcome and introduce to you Andrea Hancock.
Hi, thanks Michelle for the introduction. Hello everyone.
Yes, we're happy to have you, girl. We're going to be talking about systems are sexy and why they are sexy and how valuable they are. So why don't you first start us out with how did you come to know this about like the skill that you have and then turn it into a business model to help others?
No problem. So I'm actually a very kind of creative person. And so I realized early on that organization was necessary for me to succeed in life. And so I emulated a lot of different people who had organizational skills. I Googled over their systems and processes, and I just tried it, to force it into my life. And I started off my career in accounting. My mom kind of forced me. I actually wanted to be a chef, but I went to a vocational school and they had a chef catering culinary arts program. But she was, kind of forced me into the business side of things, which was accounting, and I actually loved it. And it was surprising because I hated math, and it took me years later to realize that I loved accounting because of the organizational properties. It was taking just this data, these numbers, these receipts, and making information that, people could then make decisions with. And then there was the balancing and, it kind of made sense. So I translated that to something else of organizing people, spaces, and things. And I found NAPO, or the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals, when I saw a professional organizer on a television show. And I joined, and as they say, the rest is history.
And then you also found out, right, that it's something that's super useful for businesses, because a lot of small businesses, I know this personally, wear a lot of hats, meaning that they're the CEO, the COO, the CMO, right? They're wearing all these hats. And having organization in the form of systems, which we're going to talk a little bit more about what that actually means, is so vital for you to be at ease with what you're doing, so that there's not a lot of friction and cogs that are being blocked in these wheels that we need all these wheels to be moving in the same direction. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So many of our clients are busy professionals and business owners. And that was something that we come up against time and time again. A lot of times people go into business with the love or passion of the product or service that they're providing, but there's so much back in office things that require our attention that just become overwhelming. And a lot of times people say, that's not my jam. I love this, or I love that, or I love this part of my business. And so, but creating these systems, though, that's the sexy part. I mean, the part of the creating is, it may not seem sexy, but the result is sexy. And I think when I think of sexy, I think of, someone that just has it together, that's attractive. And an image that pops into my mind is James Bond. And we have several different actors to oogle over if you're a James Bond fan. So just pick one in your brain and think of maybe your favorite movie. And he's in this, harrowing predicament, but suddenly, because of some gadget or some process or some delegation of someone on the outside, comes to the rescue. He thinks fast and he's able to get out of the situation. And so it's not a bumbling, I'll think of it when I come to it. He's prepared for these situations. And if we, and the things that were put in place help him in these chaotic situations. So as business owners, there are going to be chaotic situations that we just have no control over. But there's certain systems that we can put in place and build that will allow us to stay sexy and get our mission accomplished.
Yes, and that is, I mean, it's a good visual. You don't, you want to be smooth like James Bond. You want to be able to navigate and quickly navigate harrowing situations and do it professionally. And one of the ways, like you were saying, it's like thinking ahead, but sometimes we're not gifted with that talent to be able to do all that, like organizing and thought of what could potentially happen ahead. And that is where it's really nice to have somebody that does have that gifting kind of give you those insights to help you prepare. And systems could be something as such like, okay, I want to offload some of my tasks. That could be a system that you create once you start recognizing that you as a business leader are replicating these tasks yourself. That is something you could possibly hand off to somebody else so that you remove that from your mental capacity, right? Because we're spinning so many plates in the wheel as a business owner, and that could really cause confusion and lack of focus. And Absolutely. So that is just one way of a system, but like you said, there's so many different types of systems that we need to have in our business. I know, can you kind of give us an idea of like when you first meet with a client, what is like the most common like core system that you can help them establish, and what does that look like? How you get that started?
Main thing we're usually fixing for people are paper management systems. And now a lot of times we're digital. So now a lot of times people are dealing with, the digital paper information that comes into their space. But a lot of times we are trying to fit our system into something that we've seen someone else do, and we think, oh, this is the way it should always be done. And I actually had that mindset when I came from my accounting background. I learned certain things that, we print the checks and we do this. And so when I started my business, I had these huge, accounting department procedures when it was just me. And I realized they weren't practical for me. So a lot of times systems, when it comes to maybe paper or digital management, figuring out how you use information, figuring out and maybe talking with your accountant or talking with your lawyer about what you actually need to keep. Sometimes people save way too much paper, or they feel like they have to have these complicated filing systems. But really the definition of organized is finding what you need when you need it. So now with technology, things are searchable. PDFs are readable. And so we don't have to, have a file folder for every single piece of paper like we used to. We can have this, maybe just define things by broad categories and years and throw things in folders. But if you can find that document or receipt, then it doesn't matter that it's labeled or tagged or color coded. It may not even need to be that complicated. So sometimes just kind of dialing it back, taking it back to basics to build your system instead of overcomplicating things initially can really be a basis for starting a great system.
And it's fluidity too. So like if you're a small business owner and you're feeling that your own processes that you've created for yourself are complicated, that's a sign that it probably can be simplified, because technology exists to make things smoother, more efficient. So like we were talking before about how important it is to use a calendar and a scheduler, and to just start blocking off time for you as a business owner to make sure that you are honoring how many hours you have in a day, so that you're not being scattered here, there, and everywhere, and giving other people that idea and that notion of what your systems are for your business. So like my hours of work are this hours, the amount of days and times that I will take new calls will be between here and here, so that you're at least protecting yourself. But you can create that easily as a system by using your calendar and blocking off time, and then having a scheduling link to send to people. So that's just one example. Can you give us another example of a very simple, besides that you talked about the digitizing of the filing structure? What is something else a lot of small business owners struggle with?
And to piggyback off of what you just said, a lot of systems, when you personalize them, they deal with your own boundaries. They deal with your own energy levels and when you're focused forward as far as energy and mindset. So again, if you are a morning person, maybe, blocking off that time in your calendar to then do more of the drier things that need focus for your day, not allowing maybe when you have a calendar app where people can schedule meetings with you, blocking that time off. Maybe having something on your voicemail or even an email reminder or autoresponder when someone emails you certain things or certain times of the day, that you are focused on this, or you're in a meeting, or you're with a client. And so people can kind of get an idea of when you'll respond. A lot of times people our clients, our colleagues, if they have radio silence with us, they might be like, I wonder if they got the message. And then you may be digesting that, and then you get another message. So if you at least have maybe used technology to maybe be forward in responding to your clients or responding to your colleagues, then they at least have an idea of when they're going to hear from you. And then you can kind of duplicate your efforts. And then when you have that dedicated time or spot to respond to certain things or to get certain work done, you can let them know, you will get your check on Friday, the end of this, or I pay bills once a week and things like that. Just be preemptive in things that you're constantly always doing, so that you aren't always putting out little fires. Systems are kind of thinking ahead, like, what am I doing all the time that I feel like I'm spinning my wheels on? What can I create in whether it's technology wise or in a communication that will allow me to be preemptive in putting out that repetitive task.
Being able to do business online is crucial for survival, especially during times of social distancing. So how do you survive and thrive in the sea of digital noise? It's a lot like fishing. You need to know who your perfect customer is so that you could use the right kind of lure to attract them. We help you catch your perfect customer and retain them for future sales through highly converting websites, influencer mobile apps, getting you featured in the news and on TV. Hi, my name is Jerry Bowden, U.S. Army veteran and president of Revealio Software Solutions. Our goal is to help you rise above the competition, Be seen as an expert authority in your industry and embrace technology to stay competitive for long-term success. It's more affordable than you may think. So reach out to us at revealio.com and together we will make your business come alive.
Agreed. If we have to figure out that's where people like you really help people like me, who I'm a little bit more of a creative, I'm more of a visionary, and organization is like it's my weakest skill. So it's nice to be able to have that conversation or consultation with somebody like you that can just kind of help us see it from a different perspective. Sometimes that's what we need. And I think 3/4 of the population, organization is not their jam. It's just not their skill. And so people like you are a gem. You can come in and you can just like lickety split, kind of like shore us up and kind of reinforce us as business owners and help us to stay on that path. Because once you create a system, you need to be open to having it be modified a little bit as things change. But for the most part, you'll have a core system that will help you as a business owner be able to lay your head on the pillow at night and you're like, and that is sexy, baby. That is sexy. That's why systems are sexy. Not only does it make you look far more professional because you're not helter-skelters, head swiveling on a pivoting, on a swivel. You have your act together because you've got these simple systems in place. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you a for instance. Okay. Tech with Heart is a show. Now we were a once a week show, but now we are a daily live show on radio. So that took my system that I already had in place for my once a week show, where I have the interview, and then I send the recording to my virtual assistant, and then we go through this whole editing process, and then we go through this whole setting up the promotion process. It's all part of a system. Mm-hmm. And I have that locked down for years. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoop, we're going to a daily show. Okay, then. So I had to go in and I had to like modify, what does that look like? And I had to work with my virtual assistant. So the two of us fully understood what that looks like and how we were going to handle that volume. So having systems, and I'd like you to speak to this, Andrea, having systems allows businesses to scale, because if you don't have systems, and of course, if you don't have team helping you with those systems, you will not grow your business. You are the bottleneck.
Absolutely. I will speak to, you mentioned a virtual assistant. A lot of times people are, they get so flustered, they have so much to do. And the first thing they hear or they think they should do is get an assistant. But then they get an assistant and the assistant's like, okay, boss, what should I do? Blink, blink, blink. There's no process or thought process to how they sit at their desk and they're just here and there, here. And so there's nothing to delegate because there's no system. So really the first part of a system is writing things down that you do. And it could be it might sound boring, but it could be, even if you're, creative, think of a way to make it less boring. Take a selfie of yourself, take a screenshot of your, record what you're doing and voice it through. Technology now has made standard operating procedure creation so much easier with, you can record yourself on Zoom. This is how I do it. Get it transcribed. And then sometimes as you're talking about it or talking it out, you're like, well, why do I do that? Or, oh yeah, maybe I should change that password that keeps being a problem. And you start to improve those systems and the little things that just, they get on your nerves, but you just kind of like, all right, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, and you knocked on you blew on your Nintendo cartridge and you knocked on the game system and you just kept it going. And so, it was annoying, but you just did it. So now we have these things in our systems where we're just like, we're knocking on this and it could be better. It could be different, but we just don't take the time to improve it because we're always in the mode. So it's just a little bit of slowing down. And when you change a password, when you change a software, when the contact person for your bank changes. It's just maybe having something in place. And really what I think about it, and even when I was in the accounting world, there were certain things that were, I learned how to do it because it was a new thing. And guess who always asked me? Everyone else was like, well, how did you do that? What did you do last year? And I just felt that was so burdensome because if I went on vacation, I had to prep for my absence. And when you're growing your business, and this is something that's always before me as well, you start to be more than, your business starts to be more than just you. Especially I can understand with Tech with Heart, you're helping so many people with your product and your service that it would be a disservice to your clients if something happened to you and your business couldn't function. So sometimes if we think, oh, it's just me, it just annoys me. But having standard operating procedures and having other people knowing how to do certain things and in your stead, if need be, really does allow you to stay sexy. I mean, you think about being on the beach. Would you rather have a martini or a daiquiri or your laptop? What's
Good
more
point.
sexy?
Yeah. Let's keep it sexy, folks, because everybody wants to feel sexy and they want to feel the feeling of that, like that sexual, like release. You know, there's a release when you're able to
Yes.
let your business flow and grow, and you are just watching it happen because you've taken the time. And sometimes it does feel like a grind to me because it's so not my jam to set up systems, but that grind pays off like thousandfold down the road. It's a beautiful, sexy feeling to know that there's flow going on and it's all happening because of the work you put in up front. So I know, Andrea, that you are seriously a gem. The people that think like you, to me, are like the diamonds, because I need people like you to help me stay straight. And I'm sure that people listening and watching are going to actually feel the same way. So how can they go out, reach out to you for a consultation to identify whether you're the one to help them to get these systems set up for their business?
No problem. Well, they can go to our website. I'm actually wearing my shirt today, dexterousorganizing.com. They can have a free consultation with us. They can follow us on social media on Instagram at b_dexterous. And they can reach out to us on phone 571-556-8700.
And the word dexterous, what does that mean exactly?
Oh, it means being skillful and clever with use of your hands.
Okay, guys, so dexterous organizing. And Andrea, what is a lasting impression, a thought, or a phrase that you would like to leave for those that are tuning in today?
I talk to so many different people, and I think they have this pressure on themselves when they think of order and organization, that it has to look a certain way. They have to follow or emulate someone they know that's organized. But I always let people know that the definition of organized is finding what you need when you need it. It changes. You need to tweak it from time to time. It's okay if you have backlog or if you backslide a little bit. It's part of the journey, but you can gain the skill set. And if you don't have the skill set, you can at least get it to a point where you can delegate it, and you can really shine and be your best you when you just put a little thought into your processes, systems, and productivity.
And it's beautiful and sexy when it is all
Absolutely.
together. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in today. And if you are an expert influencer in your industry, you believe that you could give valuable insight and share that with our entrepreneur audience, and you have a heart to help others succeed, we would love to have you reach out to us. We can interview you on the Tech with Heart show. Just go to techwithheartnetwork.com. And if you're tech savvy or just simply savvy, and you want to hang out with forward-thinking, innovative, small business owners so that we can all grow collectively together, we invite you to come check out and join the Tech with Heart Network, because that's what we're here to do, is to grow alongside one another, sharing value and insights and expertise that's going to help move that needle a little bit for every single business, because everybody's in a different place in their business at that time. And we would love to have you. Just go to techwithheartnetwork.com. Thanks for tuning in today. Here's to your success.
Embracing technology is a must. How you use it creates impact. Tech with Heart Foundation offers education and support, allowing entrepreneurs, small business owners, and students to become competitive in ever-changing tech environments. Our nonprofit provides expert business insights, live events and masterminds, apprenticeships for minority and underserved students, and mentoring and leadership training. We need donors, sponsors, and partners. Learn more at techwithheartfoundation.org.